What's up, guys? This is Anthony Terrell, and you are watching Toy Quest 101.
My name is Elian, this is my father again.
And on today's episode, like we have here, is MMA pro fighter Anthony Terrell. And thank you so much for being on our show today. You're great friends of mine and of Toy Quest 101, so super excited to have you here today. And on today's episode, we partnered up with Kotobukiya yet again, one of our favorite partners. And for this show, they got us not one, but two Kotobukiya statues to review on today's show. So the first one we have, and I want you to show the camera right here, is the Harley Quinn ARTFX Plus statue from the Batman animated series, which is nice. And Terrell, if you want to grab Catwoman from the Gotham City Sirens, another statue that we're going to be reviewing on today's show. So super cool. So Anthony, once again, thank you for coming on to the show. We really appreciate it. So the way it works is we're just going to interview you, ask you a couple questions, and in between the questions, we're going to start digging into the statues and reviewing them. How does that sound?
Let's do it.
All right. Again, I want you to go ahead and start with the first question.
What made you start doing MMA?
Good question.
Mixed martial arts. Growing up, was upset. I grew up in the era of the Ninja Turtles. Everything was ninja. You know, Bruce Lee movies were big. Everything, karate was even bigger in just in the country, you know, in America at the time. So I guess just being so exposed to it, you know, all the action movies and the cartoons, I always had an attraction to it, you know, martial arts and fighting. And growing up, that even grew with, you know, my love for boxing. And I got older, I started training in a martial art called capoeira because I was a dancer, and it was a fusion of dancing and martial arts. My instructor started teaching us a little bit of jiu-jitsu, and the rest was history. Jiu-jitsu took me into MMA classes, and MMA classes took me here.
That's awesome. That is super awesome. Obviously, our show is all about cartoons and toys and Ninja Turtles. Yeah. Obviously, we're very familiar with them. Super cool story to kind of hear your background on how you got started by watching cartoons and some of the things that we do here on the show. Now, a lot of people who watch MMA or any type of combat sport don't realize the lead up to the fight and how that might be a fight on its own. Some professional fighters even say that the actual fight is an easy part. Can you talk to us about the hype up to the fight? What happens prior to fight day and some of the obstacles or challenges that you have to go through? Training, finding opponents, diets, you know, how many days do you spend away from the family just to get your fight camp in preparation to the fight? Talk to us a little bit and walk us through that series of things right there.
You named a lot of things. I mean, it's a very complicated thing, and I have to say that it is true. The fight ends up blinking and being over before you know it, and then you walk out, and the high from it, you know, how things turn out, whether it be good or bad, it's something about it it's addictive. It's, you know, the rush. You're like, wow. It's a really an unexplainable experience due to the amount that goes into it, the amount of emotions, the amount of mental wear, let alone the physical wear, the amount that goes into it to walk in there to be able to do it is pretty satisfying, let alone do it and do good and succeed and win. It's like, listen, man, I tell people all the time, it's like kryptonite because it is very difficult. And I think that's what drew me to it, was that it was not something that I picked up easy. All my life I got things physical things. I got things very easy. I'll admit that I'm naturally talented in a way that I see something physical, you know, I can do it. I taught myself how to flip. My parents couldn't afford to put me in gymnastics when I was little, but all the ninja stuff I'm watching is like, well, here we go. I got my couch, I got this floor, you know. So leading up to fights, it's a very mental thing. And you have to get a good grip on that mentally. It's a balance, and sometimes you can get unbalanced, and it can throw things out of whack. You got to be able to push through all of it, because in the reality of the situation, it all prepares you for the reality of the actual fight. It doesn't matter it matters what you put in, but it's still you're walking into unknown territory, no matter how prepared you are for it. And that's the thrill of the victory. That's what makes it worth it, is that you didn't walk in with a guaranteed win. You don't walk in like, this isn't a movie. It's like, all right, this guy is trying to beat me. I'm trying to beat this guy.
Right.
So you really, it's really what you put in the training. The fight really does happen before you get there. If you did it right in camp, if you got the repetitions in, you show up and you're in a decent mental place and your fight, not flight mechanisms kick in, then your training will showcase itself. And that's where you'll see some guys, you can see a guy who's untrained in comparison to a guy that has a little bit better training. And then at the end of the day, it's all what's in here, and mentally you got to be able to go out there and actually fight. That's the thing about it, is that training, there's a difference, and it takes the experience of doing it to get that experience, so that way when you go back to the training room, you know the difference in what you have to take in mentally, so that way it carries over to the next competition. I tell guys all the time, because we got a big team of amateurs around us now, and I'm helping out a lot of guys, and I'm telling them, don't take it too serious. You got to get in there and enjoy yourself and immerse yourself in it. If you psych yourself out mentally, it's going to take you out of it, and you're going to be upset with how you performed. If you go in there, take the weight off your chest and think, I chose to do this because I enjoy doing this, then you're going to perform a little better than you would. You have to overcome the nerves, and that's a lot of what goes into the build-up, is the nerves. Anybody can get into a fight. It's a human emotion. It takes nothing. It takes a couple seconds to invoke someone's emotions and cause conflict. But to sign a paper that says, for set date, months from now, you're going to fight said individual, you guys have this amount of time to be prepared.
Yep.
Day by day, you start to weigh in like, oh man, did I do enough? I didn't do well today in the training room. And these things, you gotta be able to compartmentalize and trust the process, trust your coaches, trust your team. You gotta be willing to work to the point where you have to say, all right, maybe I'm working too much, and then rest. If you have to question whether you should rest, you don't need to rest, but it is a part of it, because too much of anything is a bad thing. So you gotta it's a balance, man. It's the most difficult part. And then weight cut. Don't even get me started.
Weight cuts are difficult. Speaking of passing down the torch, I know you mentioned helping out amateurs that are just getting into the fight game. Obviously, with your experience, we've had past MMA fighters, which are also your teammates, Paul Felder on the show, Jonathan Webb. Talk to us about some of the people that you train with that's also helped you in your career when you were possibly an amateur or even now.
Paul Felder, for example, when I started, he was all I had. Honestly, he was my main training partner. We were actually both amateurs still at the same time. He had more fights than I did. I didn't have any fights, and we brought him in to help me get ready. He liked what was going on. He liked the place. We bonded. He stuck around, and from there we rolled on all the way up until he separated from our gym. I separated a year later. We got reunited under the same roof that we're still under now. Enzo Gracie Philly, UFC, Webb's MMA. He's also training at Duke Rufus's. We're still tight, tighter than we've ever been, because we've been sharing the mats this long. But I mean, to watch him firsthand excel was tremendous. Just because I lived in the gym every day, so I seen him every day. I seen the difference between what he did and what everybody else did, and I seen how it showcased it. I mean, he coached me. He's cornered most of my amateur fights. Paul and Paul are when we say the term day one, that's a real day one.
Yep.
I met Jonathan as well at once I became a part of his Gracie Philly team, and I was amazed in his character. Let alone, I already knew of him, from seeing him around, but just like who he is, how he is, and how given he is, and how healthy he is, like that's. I mean, I've still benefited from that, and it helped me tremendously, because I'm the same way. So to join a team, to be surrounded by so many guys with the same mindset and attitude, with a wealth of experience over mine, it's been nothing but beneficial and great for me just to learn and grow and to pass that on, to continue to be a part of a team that I'm happy to be a part of. It's an amazing experience.
Yeah, and it's such a cool experience, because I got to see some of you guys in action between 3 to 4 different schools joining together, cross-training, helping each other out. Jonathan, Webb's at Webb's Fitness and MMA. You have John's school, EEFC, great pad holder, great coach, phenomenal guy, John. Then you got Daniel Gracie over at Enzo Gracie in Philly, another awesome person, love him. You got Eddie Torres' team, Taino MMA. It's nice to see all the collaboration, and Sean Brady, that's also part of the team, just got picked up by the UFC. So a lot of people are coming from these 4 major groups, and of course we're all fighting under CFFC, which is a major organization, the minor leagues of the UFC almost. Very big organization, a lot of talent coming from there. Also where you have most of your fights on there too, which is kind of nice. Let's jump in from the questions and let's start opening up some of the statues now. Iliana, who do you want to start with?
Harley Quinn.
All right, so go ahead and let's show the camera real quick the box. Again, this is from Kotobukiya, and this particular statue right here. Let me grab that real quick. Go ahead, if you want to, since you're in the middle. Take a look at the box. It's from the Batman animated series. For those who are familiar with the show, it came out around the 90s. It's one of my favorite DC cartoons, probably one of my favorite cartoons in general. A lot of great talent voiced some of the characters. You got Kevin Conroy, as you guys can see the Batman autograph picture over there to the left, who plays the voice of Batman still to this day. The Joker is Hamill, right? Also Luke Skywalker, who plays the voice of the Joker. Phenomenal talent there as well. And Kotobukiya, like I said, partner up with us, and they send us a cool little message. So let's put the box down. I want you to show them this real quick so they can see. Kotobukiya has been such a pleasure to partner up with. They really care about our show, and our fans are our show, just like we're our fans of their products. So let me just read this out to you guys real quick. So it says, "Hi Miguel and Iliana, thank you for always supporting Kotobukiya and our products. Your guys' energy in every video makes us at Kotobukiya smile. We hope you have a wonderful year in 2019 and happy holidays from Kotobukiya Japan." And you can see they personalized that, they wrote it, and some of their guys went ahead and sketched a couple little figures in the bottom. I thought that was really awesome of them, and I wanted to make sure we highlighted that in today's video because we're big fans of theirs and they support us. So thank you guys over at Kotobukiya. But enough of that, let's start opening up the box. So yeah, why don't you open up the box with Anthony, and let's start pulling out Harley Quinn. So go ahead, Anthony, you can help her out too. Wow, look at that. Super cool. So there you have it, folks. The first look at Harley Quinn. Yep, and you can go ahead and start popping it open. There might be some tape on the side you might have to rip out. Now, this is an ARTFX Plus figure. It is a 1:10 scale pre-painted model kit. And if you guys seen on the box, it does pair up with the Joker, obviously, because that's Harley Quinn's lovey-dovey, right? Mr. J. You check that out. So why don't you get that to Liana so she can take it out of the wrapper while you take out all the other accessories. So that's pretty cool. Awesome. Oh, look at that.
Sweet.
Wow. That is awesome. All right, so that's the base. So let me put this over here. Iliana, you can put that one down. Let's start with the base, Anthony. Just open up the base real quick so you guys can see. The base is super cool. It has the logo of the Batman animated series, and it does have Batman on there, which is nice. So let's just go ahead and let's just put this one right here on the floor for now. And it also comes with an accessory, which is a present box, which is the colors of the Joker. We got the purple and green. And then right here we have different, it looks like it has accessories for the Joker, which is kind of nice. I like that they did that because now you have to buy the Joker.
Yeah.
And we also have, we have faces there. Why don't you show the camera?
We changed her face as well, which is cool. Very expressive characters. Very animated. Detail is awesome. I like the colors. For people that grew up watching this cartoon, particularly, I know I did. They really hit the nail on the head with this.
Yep, very
colors,
spot on.
Detail. It's awesome.
Yeah, what do you like about Harley?
Her colors, whether it's black, a mask, when she smiles.
Alright, so let's see that real quick. So here's the first look at Harley. She has her gun. She's posing there. Her feet are magnetic, so they can stand up on the magnetic plate, which is the base, which makes it look really nice. And go ahead, let's see if I could open this up. And it looks like we could change her faces like Anthony said. So Anthony, why don't you try popping out her face. So this is what it's going to look like. Check it out.
Magnetic.
Magnetic as well. I like it. So we have her kind of smirking here. We got her smiling.
I like this smirk face.
And we got her, looks like throwing a kiss.
Definitely.
But check that out. Let's just have a close up right there as close as you can. Check out the face on her.
Look at the detail in this.
Super cool.
That's quality stuff.
You could put her back on the base, and if you want to show the camera the other two faces that they could get. Yep, the different options.
Kissy faces. A lot of people in favor of the kissy face.
Yeah. Super cool.
Smiling face.
Yeah, what's your favorite face? Smiling one?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And like we said before, we got some extra options here for Mr. J and the Joker. So you have to get the Joker. I mean, it's a must, right? They're kind of a pair. And we love the Joker. He's one of my favorite villains in general. So let's just go ahead. I'm just gonna pop this on so we can go ahead and let it turn on the turntable so you guys can kind of check her out. She goes on the turntable. What do you think, Iana? Cool?
Yeah.
Yeah. Super cool. I definitely like that face when she's smirking. She looks like she's up to no good for sure.
That's what her character is good for.
Yeah.
I love it.
Super cool. Not too bad. Now, I like these statues in particular, especially for our audience, because they are made out of PVC, so they can be handled, where some of the other statues that are a little bit more delicate and can break. So if you have kids with special needs that want to kind of touch and play with the statues, they can with this one. So it's kind of nice. I like it.
Definitely feels sturdy. I was going to say that too.
Yep, and they're affordable, which is kind of nice. We're going to go ahead and we're going to make sure in the bio of the video, we're going to have all the links to where you guys could purchase this for your own collection, as well as Anthony Terrell's social media platforms where you can find him and follow and support and keep up with his career in MMA. But one last look right here at the box so you guys could see. Super cool. And the different expressions here. Alright, so let's just go ahead. I'm just going to put this one back here for now. And yeah, why don't you go ahead with your next question for Anthony?
Who are some of your favorite artists that inspired you throughout your career from any combat sport?
Wow, that's a good question. Who are some of your favorite athletes that inspired you throughout your career in any combat sports? That's a good.
Well, like I said, a lot of inspiration came from film, movies, animated stuff. But once I got into doing the real thing, my research from there started, and that's when I started taking notice. I gravitated towards wrestling heavily, so a lot of the wrestling legends, Dan Gable, John Smith, looking at these guys' accolades and things of that nature. And of course, I was already a boxing fan, so I got even more immersed into boxing when I actually started doing amateur boxing and a whole slew of boxers. Obviously, Mike Tyson was one of my favorites.
Mike Tyson.
And that was before I actually got active. Once I got active, I started taking to some old timers, but I also I took a greater appreciation for Muhammad Ali too. I was very young. I was a lot younger in his era. So, but yes. From other sports as well, but moving along into the MMA realm, I started paying a lot of attention to people like Anderson Silva, just the diversity in his game of just striking that still to me is like some of the best. Jiu-Jitsu black belt, which was has been my daily aspiration since before taking to MMA, because jiu-jitsu is what got me into MMA. So those are some people, just to name a few. Like I said, there's so many people. Man, if you could see my YouTube playlist of favorites with fight footage, I mean, I bring up some names sometime and guys are like, oh, I'm like, you know who Samart Paikun is? Talking about Muay Thai legends that were top-notch boxers, but just old era guys, Ramon Deckers, the Diamond. I mean, just
long list.
Yeah, it's epic, but yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people I studied. When I wasn't in the gym, I was literally in a computer on YouTube, just running through, just downloading so much mentally and taking it in. I love it. So the martial arts, I love it.
Now, speaking of some of the wrestlers, I know you mentioned a couple. What about Jordan Barrows? Last week, taking on Ben Askren. Wow.
Yes, that was amazing, man. I wish I could have actually been there. I tagged you in that thing, trying to get us there, man. Jordan is a big deal, specifically for him being from my hometown.
Yep.
And me closely knowing a lot of people that know him closely. It's just amazing to see somebody do things so big from our small town of Sickerville. I'm beyond proud, and it's amazing to watch him still grow and evolve.
And he's on another level. I mean, we're not talking just a good wrestler.
Yeah, no, I've been, ever since I picked up this sport, I've got into wrestling heavily, and I've competed, and I fare well training in the training room with some high level guys, but there's just another level out there, and I can't even imagine where his level is when I get stories from my wrestling coach about him. It's like, wow, man! It's like I would love to train with him. I would love to know what it feels like, just to get a little bit of that, in my world experience. Just to feel that energy and get what that's about. That's what it's always been about to me. I've always had, like I said, it's hard. That's what made me say I have to. That's what forced me to do this. I picked up fighting very later in life, and I was at a pretty dark place in my life, and it was the only light that I felt that gave an avenue for me to express myself, in a good, positive way, but I got so much from it outside of the actual cage of combat, camaraderie and family and friends and community, and the lessons that I learned from being humbled in the room to, meeting people that, I just didn't even believe existed. It's been an amazing ride, amazing experience.
That's awesome. That's truly awesome. And yeah, if we've been trying to campaign for Mr. Burrows to be on the show, so if you're watching this, just 15 minutes of your time, come support autism and kids with special needs. Be on the show, especially right here from our local hometown here in South Jersey, which is pretty neat. Just make sure if you do train with him, you're on flat ground, because if you're on a stage, you're going off.
Yes.
I'm just forewarning you guys, for those who didn't see it. Yeah. Now, speaking of inspiration, to piggyback off of what Iana asked you, you're also a father. So talk to us about the special role your son has in your life.
I didn't come here to get this emotional. That boy is the light of my life, and that's a very soft spot for me. He changed me tremendously. Parenthood. It's a complete change in identity. If there's anything decent in you that's human, I don't really understand, how people can go astray from that. Like I said, my son changed my life, and I couldn't possibly love anything more. It's scary. It's very scary. He's 5 now, and I finally lightened up. I know I drove my family insane in his earlier years, because I've never been blessed with something so pure and delicate and amazing that I just lived every day with fear of losing. So I spent a great portion of his earlier life just daily. I couldn't get enough of him. I love him definitely. I can't express it enough.
That's awesome, man.
The things that what it's done to me, how it's changed me internally and mentally and emotionally as well. To just my outlook on life and how I immediately got an understanding of so many things from my mom and my family, my grandma, rest in peace, Molly. It was just like, wow. Something clicked, and it was like, well, guess this is what I am now. I gotta try to keep this together, but yeah.
And now it seems like he's following your footsteps. I see him at the gym doing jiu-jitsu, running around, little ball of fire, cutest thing in the world. He's a good kid, man. You're doing well. You're doing very good. I see it in him. He's always smiling.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's always trying to hit me too, but it's cool.
Yeah, that's a perfect combination of me and his mom.
Yeah, he's awesome, man.
That's
Awesome kid. Let's start with the second unboxing of the day to try to get away from this emotional roller coaster, right? Let's start
from Avengers over here.
This guy. Avengers was great. Let's start here with the ARTFX Plus statue from the Gotham City Sirens, and this is Catwoman. This is one of the 3 of the Gotham City Sirens. As you know, Harley Quinn is one, Catwoman is the other one, and Poison Ivy is the 3rd one. A great comic book series, very popular, and again, Kotobukiya sent us this statue to review today. So go ahead, Anthony, why don't you start opening it up now that you showed everybody the box.
This is a really
let's
cool
see what's
box.
in there. Yeah, the boxes are cool, man.
Look at this box.
A lot of people oversee and overlook the boxes. I kind of like the artwork on them.
Yeah, that's what I'm big on the art, so that's why I thought this was pretty.
I mean, even the top of the box, check it out.
Oh, yeah.
The top of the box has a cat cut out, which is kind of neat. Little things like that. I'm a fan of keeping the boxes. I know some people aren't, but I think the boxes look cool.
Yeah, let's get this.
So let's start opening it up.
Sweet.
And I'll get Miss Harley Quinn out the way for now, and then we'll put them all back together. Super cool. Nice. Over here.
Yeah, we come from the comic book era. Keep it in the box, keep it in the wrapper. Package this thing.
Yep, they don't want them moving at all. Just pop the 2 top ones off, probably. There you go.
Wow.
Oh, that's one. Go ahead and
really look at it. Like,
yeah, why don't you unwrap this for me? Thank you. Super cool. So the bases, it's just the base on this one. This should be also magnetic. So we're just gonna go ahead and pop this right here, and let's take a look at the Catwoman. So, Ann, what do you think about Catwoman and her design?
I'm really digging this one particularly. I mean, like I thought that was gonna be my favorite because I couldn't really see how much detail was in this through the plastic, and I think it's because it's her suit. It's like reflector on it. So
yeah, and it looks leather even though it's not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They nailed the detail on this. This is a lot more detail. This looks like something like straight out of your comic book, like anime series. This is awesome. I think so.
Yep, she looks a little bit more realistic again because it comes from the comic book. She got her little goggles on, which is kind of nice. And if you see on the back, you see all the wrinkles, and it really looks like she's wearing leather, even though it's it's a statue on its own. But I think they really did a good job with the details and the paint job.
Got the little whip paint.
Yeah,
digging it.
What do you think, Liana? You like it?
Yeah.
It's cool, right?
Yeah.
So that one actually has a hole there, so you gotta flip it around. There. Yep. Just push it in. There you go. Check that out, guys. So super cool. She's kind of sneaking around on the ledge, on top of a building, and let's just go ahead and let that roll on there. Super cool, right? Super cool. So let's go ahead and put them together.
I've always been a fan of the more acrobatic characters.
Wow. So super cool. What do you think, Juliana? Oh, look, she looks even silvery when the light hits it a certain way. definitely good job with the paint job there.
Detail that is insane.
So you got a cartoon version here of Harley Quinn, and then you have like a comic book, more realistic version of Catwoman. Yep, all about the DC universe and the DC women today. So, Yana, why don't you go ahead with your question?
Who is your favorite DC superhero or villain?
Ooh, that's a good question. So, out of the DC universe, not Marvel.
DC.
Yep.
I get the so much. DC.
So think more Justice League, all those movies that just recently came out. You got Shazam, you got Batman, Aquaman, Flash, Superman.
Honestly, Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman? That's a good one.
I think coming from the comic books, I was a big fan of Wonder Woman. Just loving women, and she was the first one that really emerged amongst that group. It was like, especially like the Superman version, before they came out with Superman that merged everything. I'm a big fan of Wonder Woman. Villain, I think Thanos done took the cake.
But he's Marvel. Yep, he's not DC. But it's okay. It's okay. So DC is more like the Joker. He's got a couple of Marvel. Yeah, Marvel's pretty big. Marvel's pretty big. But speaking of Wonder Woman, I am a fan of Wonder Woman too, giving women the power, right? And I like what comic books and TV series are doing now. They're empowering women. They're really focusing on these individual characters, whether they're heroes or villains, and they're bringing a spotlight to them. And I think that's pretty neat because they're coming out with some very, very well done movies or shows, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, I just seen Captain Marvel before watching Endgame. I was actually impressed. I had low expectations because I was just like not blown away by the trailer, and I ended up actually really liking it.
Yeah, it was good. It was definitely a good movie. Yeah, I loved Captain Marvel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really good. Yeah. And yeah, who's your favorite DC character?
Cyborg.
You like Cyborg? And why do you like Cyborg?
Because he's cool. He said, he's on the Teen Titans and he's half robot.
That's right. He's on the Teen Titans. He's on the Justice League. He's on Doom Patrol. He's in all kinds of stuff. Cyborg is pretty cool. I'm a Shazam fan. I am. Think about it. He was a kid who became a superhero, right? And of course, I like Batman too. Batman is my favorite.
I do like to always give Batman his credit when I had these conversations with people because they bring him up and I'm like, here's why he's special. It's because he's not like he's not amongst the gifted. He's wealthy, and that's just a sign of hard work and dedication right there. That he's that physically talented enough to be where he is. I mean, his money helped a little bit, but that's just. I think that's being older now. I have more respect for him than I did when I was a kid, and I was just blown away with the powers of everybody. And I was like, Batman's nobody.
Listen, we can sit here and argue for days, and I can tell you why Batman is the man, but we're not gonna do that. We'll be here all day.
You're gonna have to argue with me. I agree now.
But speaking of plans and amongst other things, what are your future plans and goals that you have as your career progresses? What's your vision?
I want a facility.
Okay, like your own gym.
Yeah, I
like it.
I want a facility that has everything that I'm passionate about. That I've gone through a progression of passions in my life, and they kind of all circle around the same thing. And as I've grown into the adult that I am and the parent that I am, I've become more aware of things, economical, and paying attention to my surroundings and just thinking about where I'm at and how far I could have been if I had had access to certain things. So I would like to be the founder of an actual arts school that produces, that gives people, kids, the opportunity to partake in gymnastics, acrobatics, wrestling, sambos, things that I international things, worldly things that I didn't get exposure to until I was an adult and chose to venture off and venture out into jiu-jitsu, martial arts, the mixed martial arts. I would like to actually be the founder of a school that can actually produce and direct kids, from bringing people up, almost like an art school,
right?
Where you have your physical curriculums, your artistic curriculums, and other intellectual curriculums, but things that are a little bit more molded to the students, that can help them really navigate things of their interest, that they can be, that they can go out there, get developed in, and then, find work and do something and have a career in. You know what I'm saying? Have a career, and I'm all about career. I work for myself. So I think more people should be inspired to do so. Learn how to be self-efficient. Learn how to do that. Learn how to do the business side of things. Learn how to be more entrepreneurial with things, and teamwork. Camaraderie. Like I said, the things that you get from sports and teams and being a part of stuff. All of that can be done. And it should be done, in my opinion, at an earlier age to teach people better things and how powerful working together is. And, some people only get that from playing sports. And if you look at your average high school, there's limited activities for all kids. Not all of us are. Even the athletic aren't always interested in being an athlete. Art is a real thing. I have a ton of love and compassion for it. And I grew up. That was the first thing I really took to. Other than being physical, when I wasn't bouncing off the walls, I was sitting at a table for hours looking at a comic and just drawing everything I saw, up until the point where I started to use my own imagination and drawing my own things. So I would like to see that developed. And so instead of being one of those people that expect others to go out there and do it, I'm hoping to do that myself.
That's awesome, man. I hope you keep it here in South Jersey so we can be a part of that. Definitely a cool idea and a good concept, and I wish you luck in doing that. You're a very talented individual. Like I said before, a close friend of ours here in Toy Quest 101. I've seen your hard work. I've seen your dedication. I've seen your commitment. You are a rare breed. You're one of those individuals that you could just see and know that you're going to progress. And when that time comes, it's going to be when you least expect it, but I know it's going to be there. And I can't wait to see that. And I'm not saying it just because you're on the show. I'm saying it because it comes truly from the heart. And even in your MMA career, I know you're going to shine. And one day somebody's going to take a look at that. Maybe Uncle Dana, or maybe Bellator, ONE FC, any of those organizations. They're going to definitely see the talent that hides behind Anthony Terrell. And I can't wait for that day to come, because like I said, I train with you on a regular. I've seen you perform. I've seen you go up against top-notch guys like Paul Felder, Sean Brady, Jonathan Webb, all those guys at Daniels and other places. And I've seen you compete and fight before, and it's truly a spectacle to see. So definitely can't wait for that to happen. Once again, I want to appreciate, for those who don't know, Anthony actually put our logo on his shirt for his next fight, which hopefully we'll get some news on that soon. And we really appreciate you coming out, supporting Toy Quest 101, supporting autism awareness and kids with special needs. I think that's very special of you to come and take the time out from your busy schedule, from training, from work, to come out on this show. So thank you so much. Now, because of that, we want to give you something on behalf of us to recognize you for being such a talented individual, for being caring, and for being on the show and supporting us. So yeah, why don't you give him the Honor Guest Toy Quest 101 medal that we give our guests. Hopefully it's a small token of appreciation, so you could put where all your other big medals and competition accolades.
I love my bright colors too.
Yeah. So thank you once again. Now, for those guys who are watching, we are going to have Anthony. Why don't you tell our viewers where they could find you, social media wise?
Rudeboy _rel7. You could type that in. You could find me on Twitter. You could find me on Instagram. You could find me on Facebook at Anthony Terrell. My fan page will come up. It's linked to everything, and that's where I'm at. Posting daily, parenthood, training, fight life, work life.
Yep.
life, you know. It's what everybody's out here watching, everybody else's life. So, I'm out here looking too. It's this amazing thing, you know. So,
and we're gonna put that on the bio of the video so you guys could follow Anthony's career. And we're also gonna put the links to Kotobukiya. Special thanks to Kotobukiya Japan for sending us these awesome statues on today's show. All the links will be there so you guys could check out the statues yourself, and if you want them a part of your collection, you can go ahead and click on that link and go ahead and purchase them for your collection. So on behalf of Toy Quest 101, again, thank you, Anthony, for coming on to the show, man. Appreciate your time. Awesome stories. Thank you so much, Liana. Thank you. Awesome. Until next time, guys, you can follow us on
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook,
and subscribe to our
YouTube channel.
All right, guys, take it easy. See you later.